Not just him, but everybody, including every black belt walking the face of the planet has had to learn this at some point in time. This means certain death, right? I don't care what level of jiu-jitsu you are. This is certain death, or at least a guaranteed loss, right? And this is generally unparalleled success. Whether that means you have a particular escape that you like to use or not, this principle is going to save your butt. And if you can fight your way backwards from this, you really figure out that all this below the neck kind of just starts to sort itself out. Makes it real easy. You don't have to be this technical wizard to hit these picturesque sweeps and escapes, as long as you understand this. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be super easy, but I'm saying it's workable. It's doable. The first principle I want you guys to understand is that underhooks, okay, really kill us. Because the first thing that happens is when we allow a high side underhook, make that distinction. The first thing that happens, whether it's side control, mount, half guard, whatever, top side shoulder gets pinned, period. Now we are working backwards from here. This is incredibly difficult to deal with. So if we can prevent this before we get here, makes our life incredibly easy. Even if we find ourselves unsuspecting on a sweep, or we get taken down, kind of flash takedown, whatever. If we can get in the habit of doing this, the minute that happens, we're gonna be in really good shape, okay? So what I wanna do is always remember I gotta prevent my high side underhook. That's paramount. Whether I decide I wanna frame actively or not, understanding too that if you frame, the minute your elbow starts to separate from your side, we're giving him a potential underhook by way of the apex of my elbow, right? So when this separates, comes these types of issues. Right now he has an underhook. So we have to understand that. So when I glue this down to my side and I work with a short frame, not so much this big wide, okay, and I'm working with more of a short frame, kind of letting him rest on the elbow, but I'm not flaring it enough to allow him to get off inside and scoop this and start using his shoulder and his upper body to open me up and flare me out. That's massive, okay? Point number one. Point number two, the crossface. Even without an underhook, the crossface accomplishes the same side, only from the low side, from the bottom, okay? So we have to catch ourselves in between two tasks. The tasks of framing actively, but also preventing the crossface as well as the underhook. And we have to do this in a very tactical manner, okay? So keeping our hands here allows us to fight within this enclosed space to prevent all these issues, to prevent these problems. Like I said, the rest of this will solve itself. Issue number three, low side underhook, okay? Point number three, low side underhooks are becoming a very big deal here. Now people are understanding nowadays that if you stay pretty well tight and you prevent the crossface and you're staying well up on your side like this, very difficult to flatten somebody out and go ahead and finish your passing sequence. But if they can start to rock this bottom side underhook, it accomplishes the same thing, right? Seemingly now he can start to work on the high side. Once he gets the bottom side, now he can work on the high side. So preventing these three are going to be massive. Now there's one principle to remember here, okay? Back up for me. When I am on my side, if you look at how this is right here, with my elbows extended away from my body, this is giving me a very big prevention from either turning inboard, okay? Or when I start to turn outboard, I'm leaving something trailing. So from side, when I can actually get kind of up on my elbow and cover this, that takes away an entire bottom side underhook. It also allows me to fight the crossface. This one, I'm kind of protecting in and out between my knee. Now, if I'm running a good solid knee shield, I'm gonna be open here somewhat, so this one needs to kind of play more of down in the well, right? Now I can actually use these both. So this elbow, the problem here though, is this elbow is gonna have to go from inside to outside to help assist in other different manners. Like if I want to sit up, this elbow obviously has to come away. So as I start to sit up, now it has to come and hide behind me. So I have several different manners of movement that I can use here. I can use my build up, which is gonna mean the elbow has to come away. Or I can use my turtle up, which means my elbow has to go up underneath me. One problem that everybody doesn't understand. I start screaming at everybody, go to turtle. And they fail to realize that one arm out on either side completely prevents me from going to turtle without first doing what? Bringing it all back in, right? So if I want to prevent, and I want to stay in more of a prevent type defense when I'm on my back, I have to keep this elbow kind of over here in this green zone. If I start to get it too far away, it's a lot more to have to reel in, then I got a lot more problems. The more that I stick out here, and the bigger the gap I make right here, whether it's high or low side, the easier it's going to be for him to pass my guard. Now, something really interesting happens here. You don't need frames. You don't need frames, and you don't need to full on prevent somebody from passing your guard. You have to be able to do one of two things. You either have to be able to build up out of it, or you have to be able to turtle into it, okay? Those two things, we get really wrapped around the axle on this. I've done a good job right here with high side underhook and preventing the crossface. Let's say I don't even have a knee shield. I've let this leg completely flop. I've played very, very well here, and frankly, this position right here, I feel fantastic in. I love this. This is good. I don't have a problem here. Okay, my elbow is fairly close to the point where I can put my foot down on the mat and I can build myself up. So one of the first things I want you guys to do is work on this maneuver here. Now we're gonna work on turtling out of a potential side control position or half guard. So I'm locked down, I got my standard half guard. He's closed all this off. He's done a great job. He's not letting me get a knee shield in, bad position. My elbow is out and he's wrapping up for this right here, trying to get a low side, trying to get a cross face, trying to get a high side. He's trying to use his body. He's trying to pry me open and get up inside here. Got two choices. I can either build up and start to work my frames and frame up and to start to stitch all this together, or I can turtle out of this and make it a little bit easier on me. So I'm here. My elbow is out, right? He's trying to come inside. He's trying to rock my arm here. He's trying to do everything he can do to flatten me back out. Cross faces, low sides, high sides, I'm playing here. He decides to start putting pressure on my guard, wanting to pass more so than trying to flatten me out. If we get to this position right here, I don't necessarily need to prevent the pass or actually frame off of him to stop it. I need to just be prepared to turtle out of it and not give him a cross face, an underhook, or a bottom side underhook so he can flatten me back out. In order to pass my guard, he has to flatten me out and control me. If he can't control me, doesn't matter. I let this go. I'm pushing off my high side foot. Elbow comes inside. Now it doesn't matter what he does. He decides he wants to take side control. Fine. Good luck. He can't because now I'm turtling up underneath him. Okay? So to turtle, we have to have at least understanding one very important movement. Elbow's got to come underneath at all times. This comes a point where I just decide to let him try to pass. Right? Not even defending it. His foot's down, not framing, I'm not doing anything, just keeping him from locking me up. He's got a knee cut full on right here. Now I know that I can't give him the head because I don't want him to control me in the middle of this motion that he makes. Okay? Can't let him have this underhook here. I want to turtle, it's got to come underneath me, so I'm going to let go of this. Now I'm going to push, and as I push, what happens to his weight? Starts to rock forward. Now this elbow is going to suck up underneath me. I also cannot let him grab my sleeve. Now if we're in the gi, can't let this happen. This is bad juju, right? So I got to be fighting this grip. Can't let him have that. Go ahead and go back on my leg. Back onto it. Yeah. So here, I'm going to push forward and my head goes down and my elbow goes where? Up underneath me, and now I'm just preventing a cross face and waiting. He decides he wants to go ahead and complete his pass. We're back out. Let's let him pass. No problem. First drill. So again, here, adhere to my good sound principles. No knee shield. He can't have any of this. I'm closed off. Go. First drill. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.